Hey, welcome back to the hangar. In today's video, we are taking a trip to Charleston, West Virginia to honor the legacy of Chuck Yeager, and we'll explain more as we get in the plane. So let's go, head on out, and come along for the ride. Alright, so welcome back, or welcome if you're new to this channel. My name is Chris, this is Cecilia, I'm the midlife pilot. This channel was developed as I pursued my private pilot certificate and documented that whole journey, which I received just 3 months ago. So we'd like to document our flights and make these videos. So today is kind of unique. We'll talk about it once we're at cruise altitude. We're flying from Fairmont, 4 Golf 7, to Yeager Airport in Charleston, West Virginia. That's KCRW, named after famous West Virginian and aviation pioneer Chuck Yeager. We'll be talking a lot about him today. It's a Class Charlie airport, which is exciting. So we'll be kind of documenting that part of the flight, getting into a Class Charlie, and also we have a really cool story. We're going to meet somebody actually at the airport that's got a really cool story and an interview with Chuck Yeager to talk about while we're there. So it should be a good time. Let's go mixture rich. Slowly bring the power up and make sure we make good power. Should be 2250 to 2350 RPM. Yep, engine's in the green. We'll come off and let's fly. Airspeed's alive. Engine's green. There's 50. Here comes 60. Let's pull back on the yoke. She's flying. So there's some pretty strong headwind on the way down. It's going to slow us down. Okay. The trip back will be faster. In fact, you can feel her like already kind of crabbing over there. Have Fairmont traffic, Skyhawk 52 Lima off runway 23. I'm going to be departing the area southbound, Fairmont traffic. Give Clarksburg approach a call. Clarksburg approach, Skyhawk 3852 Lima with a VFR request.
3852 Lima, Clarksburg approach, Clarksburg altimeter 3011.
3011 and 52 Lima is a 172 slant alpha just off Fairmont Airport. VFR flight following to Charleston Airport, please. 4,500.
52 Lima, squawk 7432 and ident.
7432 and ident for 52 Lima. Thanks, lady. This will be a good experience to feel some turbulence, you know. I know that's not what you like to hear, but
I don't. It's fine.
That's part of flying.
I just think it's weird. Like whenever we were stuck in Vegas and that flight, that was like not even this turbulent, less turbulent than this, and I was having a panic attack the whole time.
52 Lima, radar contact, 3 miles southwest at Fairmont, say 2,700.
Position and altitude checks, 52 Lima. All right, let's do a climb checklist. I think it's just landing light off. Man. Hopefully we'll get above some of that. Anything else in the climb? Just throttle?
Throttle full open and mixture rich.
Okay. Awesome. Then we'll do a cruise checklist when we get up to cruise, and then we'll have our conversation about famous West Virginian Chuck Yeager, who passed away this week. All right, so we've leaned, we've trimmed, we're all set up in cruise. Let's talk about Chuck Yeager. So, you know, many of you know of Chuck Yeager. He's just an aviation pioneer. He was a military test pilot. He was the first person to fly above the speed of sound. Just really a storied career. But what makes him special, and what is special about our story about Chuck Yeager, is that he's a native West Virginian. So if you're not from a small state like West Virginia, West Virginia is an interesting place. It's a small state. It's pretty close-knit, and we don't have a whole lot of really great good things that come out of our state that are big attention getting, like, you know, big things. So when there is a big contributor like Chuck Yeager that is a West Virginian, it's a big deal to our state. We're very proud of those accomplishments and of those people. And Chuck certainly qualifies, General Yeager certainly qualifies as a legend. And he's from a small town in West Virginia called Myra, and the airport that we're flying to today is named after him. It's Yeager Airport in Charleston. There's a story that is out there that you can find if you Google about him flying his airplane under the South Side Bridge in Charleston at like 500 miles an hour, and you know, there have been all these conflicting reports that it's a myth, it's not true, it didn't happen. It did happen. And the guy that we're meeting at the airport today, he works with me at the company I work for, Metro News, the Metro News radio network here in West Virginia. He's a reporter and an anchor. He actually interviewed...
16 Hotel, contact Washington Center 133.6.
He actually interviewed General Yeager a few years ago, and one of the topics that they covered was that story of him flying under the South Side Bridge. And General Yeager tells the story, and we're going to play a little bit of that interview actually later on in this video, but it's super cool. It's a great connection to West Virginia, and to celebrate General Yeager's life, we thought it fitting to fly to Charleston and land at the airport that bears his name today. So, cool story. I hope you can stick around later in the video, hear what Chris Lawrence has to say about General Yeager, and then also we'll play that excerpt of the interview, the story of him flying under the South Side Bridge in Charleston. So it looks like Yeager Airport is 127.6 for their weather. Their field elevation is 947 feet, so 1,900 foot pattern altitude, I would assume. They're probably going to be landing runway 23. So let's plan on that. In fact, we'll put a ILS 110.3 for runway 23. So we'll be prepared for that when it happens. We're turning way off course because I'm not paying any attention. What's wrong?
Lost my appetite the second I took a bite of that.
You can put it, I mean, it can go back in the bag or whatever. Not a big deal.
Any frosted donuts just aren't as good in the air.
I planned this route. This was not a straight line. I planned this route because I wanted to follow the interstate, or at least be close to civilization most of the way.
52 Lima, contact Charleston approach 124.1.
Over to Charleston approach 124.1, 52 Lima, good day. Charleston approach Skyhawk 3852 Lima, 4,500.
Charleston approach Seneca 2883 November 2nd in at 8,000. Zero 11 2883 November.
Charleston 52 Lima, extremely broken.
It'll get better as further west you go, but where are you headed?
We're coming to Charleston. We're going to be turning right here in about 6 miles near Braxton County and headed straight to Charleston 52 Lima. So that was an example. we were too far out to hear him well. And so I popped the squelch, meaning if you pull the volume knob out, it opens it all the time so you can hear even if the transmissions are too low. Let's actually go direct now and make that turn so we can start heading towards his place where we can hear better.
5 Lima, verify information Zulu.
5 Lima's trying to hear Zulu, still a little broken.
Over 5 Lima, no problem.
Active Alpha Service Point. Active Bravo South, Active Bravo 2 close, Active Bravo 2, Active Charter close, as there's been information requested in the United States available on flight service frequencies, advise on your contact with information to Zulu. South South, Zulu 15542, calm, Zulu 10, temperature 13, 3011. Visual approach runway 23 use caution birds of the law line to Charleston Airport. Latitude Airman, runway 23 bad and unusable, 1500 Zulu to 1900 Zulu. Taxi Charlie Southeast, Taxi Bravo 4 closed, Taxi Bravo 2, Taxi Bravo, Charlie. Taxi Alpha Surface Plus not standard. Taxi Bravo Southeast, Taxi Bravo 2 closed.
We'll come back to that so I can hear all those taxiway closures. Because we may actually want to mark a few of those on the diagram because I'm not really sure, I'm not super familiar with this airport. So what we could do is take our little pencil and like scratch out the areas that they say are unavailable because we're going here. That's where we need to taxi to. And we're going to land on done. We're going to land on this runway. So we could go through here and mark off some things, you know, when we can hear the ATIS a little bit better. It's a big runway. It's 6,715 feet. So it's shorter than Clarksburg by about 1,000 feet. I would say if we haven't landed by Alpha 2, we'll go around, which is going to be the first little taxi, not the first taxiway right at the end, but the next one. That'll be our go around point. If we land a little long, actually, if we land there, would be better because then we could come further down here faster and then slow down and just get right off at Charlie and not have to taxi so far. So we'll see how that all plays out. And approach 52 Lima has Charleston in sight.
Head over 52 Lima, make straight in runway 23, contact tower 125.7.
125.7 and straight in runway 23, 52 Lima. Charleston Tower, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, 10 northeast, inbound with Zulu, full stop.
3852 Lima, Charleston Tower, wind 2305, runway 23, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 2352 Lima. All right, let's start thinking about a descent checklist. We don't have to run it just yet, but also he cleared us to land 23. Winds are 230 at 5, meaning they're straight down the runway. So this is going to be a perfect setup for us here. We'll wait just a skosh here before we start our descent, just so we keep our altitude.
I'm gonna need to pee.
Yes, me too. I'm also gonna need to maybe find some food. I feel nauseous from hunger.
Do you want
No, I think that's a bad idea. I think I need something with protein. So you can see the runway, 23.
Yeah.
It's this way, right in front of us.
Yeah.
Nice big runway. All right, let's do a descent checklist now.
Okay. Adjust mixture.
Okay, we'll do that as we start descending.
Powers as desired,
Okay.
and carpete.
Okay.
As required.
I think I'll go ahead and turn a landing light on too, just one knot so people can see us.
Sure.
So let's go ahead, we'll bring carpete all the way in.
Yep.
And let's bring power back to like, let's just, I don't know, 20.
It's weird to bring carpete in and not hear the
Yeah, because it was
stuff
already
change,
so
'cause
much
it's been
in,
the whole
right?
time.
And then as we start to descend, we'll start enriching. How about before landing checklist too. We might as well knock that one out.
Okay. Seats both secured. Fuel selector both. Mixture full rich.
Okay, I'll get
Car
that.
seat on. Airspeed 70 to 80.
Okay.
After flaps up. That's all.
Okay. Before landing checklist is complete. Start getting us slowed down here and configured for landing. First notch of flaps.
Like you're teasing me with
2 mile final runway 23.
River 52 Lima, turn left to Alpha 2, contact ground point 8.
All right, left at Alpha 2, ground point 8, 52 Lima. With my buddy Chris Lawrence from the Metro News Radio Network. Worked with him for 20 years probably anyway. And we're getting old, and Chris is a reporter and anchor for us here in Charleston, the capital city. And so you had a chance to talk with Chuck Yeager a few years back. How'd that come about?
16 years ago, as a matter of fact. He was coming into Charleston. I was a member of the organization called the Outdoor Writers Association of America. I host West Virginia Outdoors, which is a hunting and fishing radio show. And through that, I joined this organization, and they were hosting, they have a national conference that was hosted that year here in Charleston. He was tabbed as the keynote speaker, as you know, fits perfectly.
Right.
So, because he was a consummate outdoorsman. He loved hunting and fishing. Those were his two favorite things. So we did the entire interview sitting in his hotel room. He brought me up to his suite that he had for the weekend, and we just sat down in there and we had about an hour-long conversation.
That's
just
so
talking
cool.
Hunting and fishing, and about his flying.
Well, he's a legend for sure in aviation, and I know that the interview is pretty wide-ranging. The clip that we're going to play here in a minute is from a story that was well told around the internet. For some reason, there was some controversy around it, whether it was true or not. But there was nobody ever denied. He never, certainly in his lifetime, denied that it wasn't true. But I did see a couple of other times he had come out and tried to set the record straight on some details and stuff. But I don't think many people have heard your interview with him in this clip that we're going to play. So this clip is about the adventures from Yeager. He came to visit his family, took off in his P-80 from here, looping around the Capitol and flying under the South Side Bridge is basically the story, which is crazy in itself, but it seems to be true.
If you've seen it, it absolutely is true. He told me it was. I asked him specifically about that because up until then, all I had heard was conjecture and rumor that this happened, and then it was almost like a local folk legend. And I thought, I got the guy who supposedly did this sitting here one-on-one. I'm gonna ask him about this, and lo and behold, he started at first to kind of like laugh it off, and then I think he just said, you know what, I'm just gonna settle this. And he told the entire story. He took off from here at Yeager. He said it was a beautiful day. He said the river's beautiful. He thought, I'm just gonna drop down there on the deck and fly under the bridge. And he said, he was very matter of fact, because he said during the war I flew under a lot of things over there in Europe trying to with shells passing my canopy. Yeah. He said it's not as big a deal as everybody makes it out to be. So
that's so cool. Well, here's the clip. Let's play the interview clip now with Chris Lawrence and General Yeager.
I just come back from the war, and I flew under a lot of things where when a big old 100mm shell is going across your canopy at about 3 feet, and no, I remember I came in here in '48, I think it was, and to visit my dad and mom, Delwood Hamlin. So I brought a P-80, one of the first Lockheed jets, in from right field and parked it up at the airport. I think I took off towards town, turned left, went up around the Capitol, and the river's beautiful. The Kanawha River is a beautiful river. And I just dropped down on the river, and I had about, 11 feet of clearance between it and the bridge, and I just stayed right down real close to the water, going about 450 miles an hour. And the thing that surprised me, I was not looking way up ahead. I was staying focused in on about 100 yards so I could stay the right distance above the water and below the bridge. And I looked there, and here's a boat regatta coming up the river, a whole bunch of people in boat. And man, I said, geez. So I went under the bridge, and as soon as I got under, these guys were bailing out, and I just pulled the airplane up and got out of here and went back to right field. What was funny, every time I'd come back here to visit Mom and Dad with the P-80, dumb news photographers would beeline the river down to the camera. I said, I learned in the war, never make more than one pass.
That is so cool, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing. What a great story and a great memory, I'm sure, for you to have had a chance to interview him.
Yeah, and I also asked him. There was another fable that said that this farmer in Lincoln County, where he was from, said when he would fly into town, the guy would lay his corn down because he was flying so close to the ground. And the rumor was Yeager told the guy, you know what? I'll go the other direction when I leave, and I'll stand it back up for you. He actually said that was some creative literary license.
That's great.
But the Southside Bridge incident actually happened. That bridge is about 69 feet above the water, so you can imagine.
That's tight.
450 miles an hour through an opening of 69 feet.
That's amazing. Chris Lawrence from Metro News, thank you very much. You can learn more about Chris's work and read some of his stuff and hear his show on Saturday mornings at wvmetronews.com. If you're interested, we appreciate you letting us use the clip here on the channel.
Glad to do it, man.
Thanks. It's great to see you.
You too, man.
I hope you enjoyed that trip to Yeager Airport here in Charleston and our visit with Chris Lawrence. Chuck Yeager was really an incredible individual. He'll be missed, an outstanding West Virginian who was really an aviation pioneer. Anyway, appreciate you coming along, and we'll talk real soon.